This is ILTV on the hour. We're bringing you the biggest headlines from Israel and the Middle East in just 5 minutes. I'm Shosh Bedrosian. Today is day 711 of the war in Gaza. Let's get into the top headlines right now. The IDF is confirming they struck Houthi military infrastructure in Hodeidah port in western Yemen. The IDF says the port is used by the Houthi terror proxy for the transfer of weapons supplied by the Iranian regime in order to execute attacks against the state of Israel. The military says the strike was carried out in response to the repeated attacks by the Houthis on the state of Israel. The IDF issued an urgent evacuation warning for the Houthi-controlled port a few hours before the strikes actually took place. The Houthi military spokesperson says their air defenses are engaging with Israeli aircrafts carrying out the strikes, although they said the same thing last week, and there was no confirmation of that. Defense Minister Israel Katz says the strike on the port in Yemen is aiming at continuing, quote, the naval and aerial blockade on the Houthi terror organization. And the IDF and Prime Minister Netanyahu have confirmed today that Israel began overnight an intense operation into Gaza City. As tanks rolled into the urban area, massive explosions and strikes were reported overnight around midnight. The IDF says 2 divisions began expanding ground operations there, which they are now calling Gideon's Chariots B. A 3rd division will be joining in the next few days, which brings total of tens of thousands of soldiers operating in Gaza City. The start of this major offensive in the city is being considered a dangerous combat zone now, with the IDF's Arabic spokesperson issuing a warning on X that staying in the area puts people at direct risks. Civilians in Gaza City are being instructed to move south towards the Israeli designated humanitarian zone in the enclave. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio concluded his trip here in Israel, where he met with Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Isaac Herzog as war presses on in Gaza. Rubio finished the trip visiting with the Prime Minister and both of their wives in the historic Pilgrims Road in the city of David in Jerusalem, where they were on a brand new excavated road from Siloam Pool following the pathway to the Second Temple. Netanyahu spoke at the historic event about the deep, rich history Jews have here in the land of Israel. Take a listen.
2,000 years later, we recovered our city. We recovered our independence. We built our sovereign state anew. We built an army. And we built a country like no other. But this country is based on those 2,000 years of yearning. Next year in Jerusalem, next year in Jerusalem. It didn't matter if you were in the ghetto in Toledo or the ghetto in Warsaw. That's what Jews prayed for. Next year in Jerusalem. Well, we're here. This is our city, Mr. Erdogan. It's not your city. It's our city. It will always be our city. It will not be divided again.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio added Qatar to his list of travel plans as Arab and Muslim leaders held an emergency summit there and are now calling of it to review its ties with Israel after the IDF's targeted strikes on Hamas leaders in Doha. The Arab League, an organization of Islamic cooperation, held a joint session discussing how to take firm action against the strike in Doha after he landed inside of Qatar. Take a listen to what Marco Rubio had to say.
We're going to ask Qatar to continue to do what they've done, and that we appreciate very much, and that is play a constructive role in trying to bring this to an end. Obviously, they have to decide if they want to do that after last week or not. But we want them to know that if there's any country in the world that can help, end this through a negotiation, it's Qatar, and we appreciate that. And if there's a chance to do it, we want to encourage them to do it.
And Israeli media is reporting that Hamas is moving some Israeli hostages above ground in homes and in tents in Gaza City, so they're being used as human shields. We know that President Trump also put a statement out about this, demanding for the release of all 48 hostages. That's the latest and a wrap here on ILTV on the hour. Thanks so much for being with us, and stay tuned for more updates.